second half of November, just after a new moon in Libra in the asterism of Vṛṣabha, the star of purpose. During autumn in the northern hemisphere, a dark moon always takes place in Libra, but this year, in 2023, Jupiter in Aries was gazing directly at Moon and Sun with Mars nearby, bringing a ray of optimism to the world, to a world in chaos. Vṛṣabha, meaning forked branch in Sanskrit, is a nakshatra that opens the way for an alternative path. It brings new beginnings, especially in partnerships and relationships, because it is in Libra. Flanking across the tail end of Libra and the first 3 degrees of Scorpio, its element is Agni, fire, representing intention, while imparting to us clarity and awakening. Vṛṣabha nakshatra is symbolized by a triumphal arch, such as those seen in big cities like the India Gate in Delhi, or the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, or the iconic arch in Greenwich Village in Washington Square Park in New York City. I'm sure many of you have been there. This arch signifies victory, and potentially related to a significant historical event, because this nakshatra can be related to historical events. This Deepavali new moon happened at the same degree of the October solar eclipse that happened a few weeks ago, reminding us in this dark time, literally and figuratively, to go within to find our light and our life's true meaning, that we are that light. With Sun Nietzsche, Sun's powers diminished in Libra, it's time to give up egocentrism and self-importance and instead traverse the pathway of the greater good. As predicted in the last update I gave, over the past 2 weeks, the world has seen a great deal of questionable information being disseminated into the population. We're on high alert, and many understand the plot of the movie currently being shown in the World Theater, while others have been left wondering if what we're watching is it a documentary or is it fiction. We continue to witness ongoing explosive events, with whispers of a high-profile client list floating around and rumors of generative AI creating a growing tsunami of disinformation as the U.S. heads into the 2024 presidential elections. Massive protests sweep cities across the globe, from San Francisco to Washington, D.C. in the U.S. to London, Paris, Madrid, Berlin in Europe, to the Middle East, Africa, Australia, Asia, India, all over. Sadly, violent altercations are also erupting in small towns across the planet and on social media, as human consciousness is inundated and overloaded with incendiary information. We are in the illusion of separateness and division. Now, on Mabhumi's front, Mother Nature, a supervolcano wakes up from a deep slumber in Italy as Mount Etna spews lava into the sky above Sicily. It's amazing. Look it up if you haven't already seen it. Iceland also braces for an imminent volcanic eruption. I haven't even checked today if it erupted, but after a swarm of earthquakes had hit the Rāśi Peninsula, thousands of people were mandatorily evacuated. Mexico recovering from a sudden, unexpected, devastating Category 5 hurricane. Category 5, that is insane. While Brazil experiences unprecedented heat waves, and also a giant rogue wave hit the beach of Rio de Janeiro. So events like this are happening all over the planet. The Navagraha, the 9-planet alignments of November, ignite upheaval, along with the outer planet Sveta, Uranus, who makes a mark on a generation. So more to come on that, but yesterday, November 17th, was Sanskranti, the monthly cyclic movement of the sun from one zodiac to the next. Sun meets Mars in Scorpio, where they will now travel alongside each other in a tight degree orb until the end of the month, and will be in close range well into December. King Mars and Commander-in-Chief Sun will continue to travel toward the Sagittarius zodiac, after which they will begin to separate. While they remain close together, the Sun-Mars conjunction, especially in Scorpio, has the potential to trigger fire and fury. So again, we must remain calm in all situations. We must remain calm in all situations. Please remain calm in all situations. Warrior Mars acts powerfully in his own sign, stirring up Scorpio's stagnant, chasmal waters and inciting deep, hidden emotions within the collective, especially when he is with the Sun. So this is a very sensitive time when anger will be waxing. So let us think before we act or even say anything about anything. Okay? Now, why are things so inflamed right now? Because Saturn continues his 10th Dṛṣṭi gaze onto Scorpio, while his adversaries, Sun and Mars, are there, creating a very karmic and potentially detonative aspect. Do not be surprised if we see things or something in our lives violently shatter or burst apart in the last half of the month. Now, on November 20th, in a few days, Mars will pass through Aquarius and conjunct Saturn at 6 degrees, while Mars casts his 4th aspect from Scorpio. So in other words, Saturn and Mars are giving a mutual aspect, Sambandha, this is called in Vedic astrology, each from his own sign. It's like two enemies eyeing each other from their respective territories. Okay, they're each powerful in their own territories and they're glaring at each other. This Saturn, Mars, and Moon liaison, because on this day Moon will be there, will have us feeling, well, Moon will be with Saturn. This will have us feeling heavily conflicted about things happening in the world, as if we're being simultaneously pushed and pulled in all directions, and very heavy. So it may be quite an emotional day, but by the 24th, our hopes for the best will be heightened as Venus from Virgo casts a benevolent glance onto the Moon in the sign of idealism, Pisces. 3 days later, November 27th, a full moon will occur in its exaltation sign of Vṛṣabha Rāśi, that's Taurus, shining light on matters related to our health, our wealth, our finances, and agriculture. So something that was formerly hidden from us related to any or all of these matters will be revealed somewhere within the last few weeks of November, first few weeks of December. Be on the lookout for that. That could be in your own life, and it could be on the world stage. Now that same day, the 27th, November 27th, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. The zodiac of Dharma and righteousness is currently receiving the highly beneficial 9th aspect from its own sign ruler, Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter is aspecting Sagittarius. So Jupiter is currently hanging out in Aries. Okay. Now Mercury will be visiting Mula Nakshatra in Sagittarius, and while he is there, he will get down to the root of things to unearth hidden truths for the world to see. So we can see a theme here. Hidden truths are being unearthed. Everything is lining up divinely and perfectly. Now the next day, November 28th, Rahu-Ketu will finally move into their new positions. I am talking about the true calculation. Some Jyotishis, Vedic astrologers, use the mean calculation, some use the true calculation, and some use a combination of both. But I'm speaking about the true calculation in this case, and Rahu-Ketu will move into Pisces and Virgo zodiacs, where they will officially be initiating new lessons for humanity. The following day, November 29th, Venus crosses from its weakest position in Virgo. Venus has been in Virgo, feeling very weak, where his strength will now be regained. Rejuvenated by Tula Rāśi, that is the sign of balance. Libra is a sign of balance. Venus, the planet of union, sweetness, beautiful things, will bring the world some much needed diplomacy and harmony. So we may see something related to that. Okay, now we are ready. We're ready for the new 18-month cycle. Rahu-Ketu exacts on us. Rahu in Pisces, belonging to Jupiter, will make us feel creative and adventurous. And Jupiter receiving continued aspect from Saturn Aquarius, social justice, charity, and altruism will be highlighted. Over the next year and a half, Rahu can have us going with the flow to the extreme, because Rahu is everything extreme. So we do need to watch our Pollyanna tendencies, especially, I would say, in philanthropic matters, because Rahu makes things cloudy and mysterious. So our well-intended donations could be used for nefarious purposes. Let's be careful of where our not-for-profit money is actually going. On the opposite side of the zodiac, Ketu in Virgo. Ketu in Virgo is definitely asking us to be in service to humanity, but the details do matter. The details matter. Okay, so we must get down to work to make the reality what we want. Virgo is the sign of service, and Ketu is there in Virgo. Helping the whole will now be required, and it will take seeking our sole purpose. Okay, Ketu's new placement in Kanya Rāśi, Virgo, might leave us feeling skeptical, maybe detached, but this is just the beginning of the Rahu-Ketu transit, and with our courage that was just triggered by the November new moon in Vṛṣabha, we will feel inspired to begin anew. We feel inspired to begin anew. I know I feel inspired to begin anew. So as victory has already been declared. Now, as the poet Rumi was a Virgo, by the way, beautifully wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." That is such beautiful wisdom. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Meaning, from suffering, from pain, enlightenment can rise. And that is what is happening. From darkness comes luminescence. That is what is happening in the world right now. So in bleak times, remember that jnana, the fire of knowledge, brings the highest understanding and the greatest gift, and ultimately teaches us that the light is within all of us. All of us. The light is within all of us. I'm wishing you the highest and most expanded expression of your human birth. It really helps me out. If you like, subscribe, press notifications, and if you would like to receive a free membership at my Buy Me a Coffee page, where you can sign up for my star messages, I will post the link below. Or for readings, go to my website, kalashala Vedic astrology.com. Namaskaram and aloha.